The American Athletic Conference is clinging to relevancy, basically losing the battle big time, but gained back some ground today. Mark Rogers TV on the new 6-year deal between the ACC and the American Athletic Conference to play in the Military Bowl starting in 2014 in Navy Stadium in Annapolis, Maryland. Why is this contract so important? Well, it's not important to college football nationally. It's a low-level bowl game. It's extremely important to the American Athletic Conference. Formerly the Big East, we know that it was by far the weakest of the 6 BCS conferences, did not deserve to have automatic qualifying status to a BCS bowl game, but it did, and now was almost defunct because of all the defections, most notably the recent ones of Syracuse and soon-to-be Louisville, and also Pitt to the ACC. So this conference was hanging by a thread, was able to scarf up most of the Conference USA and maintained its football identity. Now it maintains contact with the rest of the BCS with contracts like this. As long as the conference can maintain a postseason agreement with a BCS league, it means something. Most of the non-BCS leagues do not have contracts unless it's with their championship team or a second place team with like an 8th, 9th, 10th place team from a BCS league, a la the Motor City Bowl with the MAC taking on the Big Ten. So this is a big deal for the American Athletic Conference. Okay, what I don't like about the agreement is I like to compare conferences during postseason play. But when they don't send comparable seeds to the same bowl game, it's difficult to do. If these are all supposed to be BCS leagues, they should be sending a third-place team to play a third-place team. Comparable teams from comparable leagues should match up. This doesn't make sense in my eyes because we've got the American Athletic Conference sending its 3rd through 6th seeds to play the ACC's 7th through 10th seed. So it is possible that the 3rd seed in the American Athletic Conference would be taking on the 10th best team in the ACC. You can't compare the bowl records of the conferences when you have those kind of matchups, and we see them all the time. The recent Pinstripe Bowl deal between the Big Ten and the ACC is very similar, where the Big Ten is going to send a much lower seed to take on the ACC, and we can't compare scores that way and cannot compare results between the conferences. But this is a good get, again, not just for the American Athletic Conference and maintaining ties with a conference like the ACC, but also for the Military Bowl. The matchup in 2012 was San Jose State against Bowling Green in front of a paltry crowd of 17,000 at RFK Stadium. The ACC's right in the backyard of Washington, D.C., and of course the American Athletic Conference is spread all over the place, but has a lot of members on the East Coast or close to the East Coast, so there's a regional draw, and they should draw much better than 17K in that 2012 game with San Jose State and Bowling Green. Okay, the American Athletic Conference gets a good tie-in there, but they've lost 3 big matchups recently, losing the tie-in that they had in the Belk Bowl with the ACC, the Pinstripe Bowl with the Big 12, and the Russell Athletic Bowl down in Florida, also against the ACC. So the American Athletic Conference definitely needed this. Your thoughts on bowl tie-ins, how they should work, what would be good conference matchups, and seeding matchups between the conferences. Step in, take your shot. Let's hear from you on Mark Rogers TV.